Hi guys, today I'm going to talk to you about a few things that some people have asked me about self-appreciation, or maybe some people call it self-love. I don't like self-love because I think it sounds a bit bent, if I'm honest. Comparison to others. So as I said, comparing yourself to others, if you know what self-appreciation is comparing yourself to other people who are maybe, let's say you are into like models, you're a woman who likes to look at models on Instagram, and you compare yourself a lot to them and you think, oh, my body's not good enough, blah, blah, blah. That's obviously, there's positives and negatives to that. The positive parts to that would be the fact is that you'll be able to look at it and think, well, you know, I can better my body to the point where it's as close as possible to that. That's depending on the type of person you are. If you're the type of person who just gets completely demotivated by it because if you don't get exactly perfection on that one thing, on that one person, then you just get demotivated. Or you could be someone who's like looks at it and goes, you know what, I'm not going to get completely there, but that's actually quite good to have as a goal and try and achieve. So that's something where I think you should look at as the positive aspect of it, is looking at it in a way that you can then aspire to be that person, and then look at their habits to the point where they look at that. So obviously I'm comparing it to exercise or the body or the health. So if you look at it like that if you're looking at someone who is healthy and is really fit looking, then they obviously have really good habits and really good aspects to look at. So they might be super healthy, and you have habits that you can then take on board, and then you can write those down and then focus on them. But also just remember, I speak about self-awareness quite a lot. And self-awareness being, if you are someone who looks at it and gets demotivated and like, well, I want to be like them, and you aren't maybe the same skin tone, or you're not the same build, or maybe you have been super overweight before and your body shape might not get into this exactly the same comparison as to someone else because of certain aspects, which you'll know yourself, then then it's not possible. It's not possible to get to that exact body shape. So you have to maybe find either someone who you can look at and think, okay, well, you know, they're someone who I can actually look like, or be like, okay, well, someone I might not be able to look like, but at least I enjoy their habits, I like their lifestyle, and I'm going to take some positive aspects from it. So that's I think my 2 cents on that matter. And as I said, I've went through the positives of that and the negatives, and on top of the self-awareness. The self-awareness part is, for me, is probably the most important part, and just knowing that you are able to know that person might not be in to grasp like that kind of aspect of their body shape or their lifestyle, because their lifestyle could be they travel the world and they live as an Instagram model, and that doesn't mean you can't go and try that depending on who you are, and then try and become someone who does that. As I said, I'm all for going for it, like 100% go for it and try and live that life. But if you maybe don't want to do that, then don't try and compare yourself to their lifestyle. Take the parts from it that you can achieve and that you want to achieve, and then leave the other ones out that maybe you can't, and find someone else who has them. So that's why it's good to maybe pick a few people that you like, take a little bit from each of them, and then make it your own. And that's what I personally do with each person. It doesn't matter if it's like someone like even simple as Jordan Peterson, if you know who that is. He's a clinical psychologist. I think he's absolutely amazing. He's really helpful for everyone out there in the world, especially men, but for everyone. And for me, is super helpful. But I don't take absolutely everything, and I wouldn't also follow his lifestyle. But then also on top of that, I'll then look at someone maybe completely different, like David Beckham, for example. He has some aspects that I think are really, really good attributes that you could look into. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but he has some really good attributes that a lot of people don't know that I like. So and then you can take those two, and then they're completely different ends of the scale. So again, you can just find people who are like that, and then I would focus on those and see if that helps you. And it's practical information as well, so it's information that you can actually practically use. So just finding these people and then being, right, okay, I'm going to take those aspects, as opposed to a lot of people on either YouTube and these things who just rant about people and don't have any information to take out. So if I was you, I would find 3 or 4 people that you are focused on. So this is the practical part. 3 or 4 people you like on Instagram or any social media or anywhere out there, even people you know, and then focus on them and just use those people as someone you aspire to be, or have aspects where you can take from. And I think that's probably the best way to go about it, as opposed to being with most people are all or nothing, obsessed with one person, like Kylie Jenner, for example. Girls out there will just be absolutely obsessed with this girl, and she'll just want to be exactly like her. And I'm not, who am I to say that's not the correct way of living your life? But for me, and as it's always my opinion, is the fact is that I personally wouldn't do that, and I'm just speaking from my opinion. So take what you want from it, and let me know how you get on.